That's the chant made by driving instructors who engaged in protest action at the South St. George police station on Tuesday morning. The instructors took this action after they were informed on Monday that they were to remove the markings placed on their cars to assist students in the STICS exams, which were scheduled for the following day. They refused to take part in any stick or road exams with their students going forward until this is reversed. This instructor, who preferred to be off camera, said the situation is unacceptable as there was no consultation held on the matter, while the short notice puts their students at a great disadvantage.
Our concern is this. After you teach a child, and after the child has been taught, then you examine the child. Yeah? The child, when they are taught to use pen, they are taught to use pencils to write. Now what you find after they finish writing, they finish in the classroom to do an exam, they are now said, no pencils allowed, no pens allowed in the exam. How would the child able to do the exam properly?
According to another instructor, the marking have been used for over 30 years as a means of teaching the students. It is said that more time should be given to instructors and students to adjust to the new rules. Over 15 students were unable to do the exams on Tuesday morning due to the situation. They had this to say about the development.
You work for 5 years in secondary school to go and do CSEC. You know all the exams beforehand, you know what's going to happen. And then on the day of the exam, they come and tell you how to do something else. Something completely different that you never prepared for in any way, shape or form. And then they expect you to still want to do it. And they still expect you to actually do it and pass.
Because for one, we've been doing it with the Mac. And it's still pretty difficult to get everything to line up. And on top of that, they're allowing us only a certain amount of stops, and that is just very difficult to do, especially if you don't have any marks. You would have to stop only a certain amount of times. However, if they at least give us a unlimited amount of stops, maybe we could adjust ourselves to make sure, we could get a better chance of going in.
Last week, the student went up with the mark. Now this week, we can't go up with the mark. And then my question is, who compensates for further lessons? What do I do now?
Senior officer at the South St. George police station escorted instructors and students from the property of the station during the protests. In seeking a response from the traffic department of the RGPF, officer in charge, Superintendent Randy Connaught, says the mechanism used by the instructor is immoral and should not continue.
The driving schools, for some time now apparently, would have engaged in placing markers along their vehicles to give a gauge or an indication to the students who would be sitting the exam, the practical exam, to give them an unfair advantage. And in my opinion, and the opinion of many others who this matter was brought up to, it's just a clear case of cheating. Really concerned about what was happening, and as a responsible individual, taking into account the mandate given to me, I had to address that without delay. And this is exactly what happened here today.
A sit-down discussion will be held between the instructors and ranking officers of the traffic department in the coming days. Meanwhile, driving instructors throughout the island are not permitted to use the markings going forward. For GBN News, I am Rena Pett Thomas reporting.